Hey, welcome to the week 5 training. As you can tell, I am back. Big big thanks to Greg for filling in last week. As you can tell, I'm still not 100%, but I'm well enough. Another thing from last week too, some of you pointed out, Greg incorrectly spoke about a catch. He said 2 feet down. It is 1 foot down in high school. He just misspoke. It happens. These things are not exactly easy to do. Mic fright is real. As you get in front of the mic, you tend to forget some things, even when you have it written down in front of you. So, just want to correct that. But again, like I said, big thanks to Greg for stepping in at the last minute. So, also, another point is last week there was some discussion, they're still ongoing, and it is confusing, and that is the issue of a defenseless player. Defenseless player is only mentioned twice in the rule book, in Rule 2 in the definition, and then in 943I3 is mentioned again. But we need to remember it only specifies, it is not illegal to hit a defenseless opponent. It is illegal to make illegal helmet-to-helmet contact with a defenseless opponent. Again, that's 943I3. I think it is confusing because, like I said, the rulebook goes out of its way to define what a defenseless player is. I think it does that to emphasize the safety of it. So if there is doubt, we always want to err on the side of caution, but we need to be vigilant and judicious in that. Okay, so we have indicators that we look for in targeting. I think of some of the plays shown last week, they were just hard hits. But we need to make sure we have the indicators for targeting if we're going to rule targeting. So here we're going to have a play. Again, this would be a defenseless player, so we need to see, is there illegal helmet-to-helmet contact on this hit? So we want to remember, we look for indicators. Leading with the crown of the helmet is an indicator. Launch is an indicator. Thrust is an indicator. Those are things that we are looking for. Another thing that makes this a difficult call is that you have the moving target in the offensive player. The offensive player, he is moving, he is coming down, and that presents a challenge for the defender. But the onus is on the defender to make the legal contact. Okay. So in this case, we do have, I think the call is targeting, and we can support it because we certainly have leading with the crown of the helmet. I don't quite consider that a launch, but he does lead with the crown of the helmet. Again, the onus is on the defender right here to make this contact legal. What can we do tell our defenders to make this contact legal? Obviously, we want to lower their target area, wrapping up. I always tell coaches and players, wrap up. And when you wrap up, it makes it easier for me to make a decision. I'm not going to go out of my way and say every time a player wraps up, it's not going to be a foul. But 9 times out of 10, the player wraps up, you're not going to have a foul. So, again, that's just something we need to look for. We need to look for our indicators. Same thing here. This one's a little harder too, because it's going to be in the middle of a big pile. And again, you have a offensive player who kind of lowers his head to absorb the contact. And there was a flag for targeting in here. And this one's a lot tougher. Again, we're looking for indicators. Is he leading with the crown of the helmet? Is he launching? Is he thrusting? I don't see a launch. I really don't see a thrust. So your question is going to be, is he leading with the crown of the helmet? It kind of looks like he comes in face up. Face up, usually you're not gonna have helmet to helmet. We like to see that coming in with the crown of the helmet. And then where is the force of the contact? Is the forceful contact above the shoulders, or is it at or below the shoulders? If it's at or below the shoulders, then we don't have targeting. If the force of the contact is initiated above the shoulders, that's when we would have targeting. This to me looks like it's coming in at the shoulders. I don't see the forceful contact to the head, to above the shoulders. I just don't see the forceful helmet to helmet in this one. But again, it's tough. We have the benefit of going frame by frame. In this one, he kind of comes in. There's also sound. We do emphasize sound a lot. The sound of two helmets hitting each other. It sounds a lot different than shoulder pads hitting each other, or even a helmet hitting a shoulder pad. So use your sound. Okay, we can do that. We do it with punts, whether or not the ball was tipped. We do it in baseball. Bang bang plays it first. So use sound. Don't be afraid to use sound. All right, so let's talk about enforcement. Enforcement can be tricky. Remember, referees enforcement is 100% on us. But do have a backup. Greg and I told you all in the camps. While it is mostly on the referees, do have someone on your crew that you can kind of go to. It's kind of your backup in enforcement. So if you have a question or just to kind of confirm what you think. So on this particular play, we're going to have a sack. All right, because the quarterback is sacked. So this would be a running play. And then we're going to have a foul on the defense. There's a holding foul on the defense right here beyond the line of scrimmage, about the 50. See, our line of scrimmage is a 40. The play is going to end back here about the 32. So we have a sack, and we have defensive holding. And we're going to see the very next play. Looks like we penalized them 10 yards from the previous spot, which has been the line of scrimmage. This would be incorrect. So let's do some of your basic math for penalty enforcements, okay? What type of foul do you have? A live ball or a dead ball foul? We have a live ball foul. So do we have a running play or we have a loose ball play? It was intended to be a pass, but it was a sack. So we have, in this instance, a running play. A sack is a running play. So live ball foul with a running play is going to be into the related run. Always. So correctly officiated, it would be penalized and still be repeat the down. So it should be third down still. But we would be 10 yards from, say we give them forward progress right here at 32. So it should be, 3rd and 4 from the 42. Correctly officiated, or correctly enforced, I guess we should say. So just kind of use that simple math. All right, loose ball, live ball foul plus a loose ball play would be previous spot. The obvious exception would be the all but one principle, which would be a foul by the team who has the ball behind the basic spot. That would be all but one. But this is not falling into all but one because you have a foul by a team not in control of the ball beyond the basic spot. So you're going to enforce a penalty from the end of the related run. So the penalty enforcement is a little tricky, so it helps to kind of have these little basic equations like this to kind of help you with that. So this play, we have a really good job of the official here picking up this illegal hit right there. Great job. We flag it. Good job for looking off ball. We're off ball officiating. We always want to make sure that we're keeping our keys and officiating off the ball. So the issue I have though here is, as you can see from the official's hands, he calls a block in the back. While again, it's good that we get the foul. Okay, we need to make sure we get the foul. We also need to get the foul right. This is not a block in the back. This is we can go one or two things. Go unnecessary roughness since it's way behind the play. But your safest bet here is a blindside block. Defender doesn't see it coming. Forceful contact. He doesn't use open hands. This is a blindside block. There's not a block in the back because he doesn't get him in the back. Even if you have like a legit block in the back, he hits him. It's in the back. If the contact is forceful, then go with the blindside block because it still qualifies as a blindside block. The defender doesn't see it coming. Forceful contact, no open hands. If they don't shove them in the back with open hands. So the blindside block is the easier sell here because a coach could argue with you that's not a block in the back. And I would back up the coach in that argument. This is not a block in the back. But you can't argue that this is not a blindside block because it meets all the criteria. Plus, it's well behind the play. So again, good job on getting this off-ball officiating behind the play, but let's still make sure we get the call right because this is a difference of 5 yards, or you know, half the distance. It's still, you know, if we were further down the field, you're talking about a distance of 5 yards, which can be huge. Same situation here. Again, we're going to have a good job of officiating off the ball on a long run here. You see right there, probably about the 18 or 19, you're going to have an illegal hit. And again, this was called a block in the back. But this is not a block in the back. This would still be a blindside block. Doesn't see it coming. Forceful contact, does not use his open hands. And plus, he does kind of get him in the front. And yes, to answer the question, you can still have a blindside block with a block in the front. Remember, it just where's the defender's attention. Do they see it coming? Do they have time to defend themselves? If none of that is met, then you have a block in the you have a blindside block. So again, here we want to make sure that we get the call accurate. Again, good job on picking it up, but let's get it right. It would be a blindside block. So here we're going to have a call for roughing the passer. I would like more on this. I mean, you want to roughing the passer to be big. So when we're talking about roughing the passer, you know, is a quarterback in any kind of danger? Does the defender have time to let up? Is there an extra action? Like, you know, even if the defender lets up and then he gives a quarterback a shove, well, that's an extra action. So we would penalize that. Here, it looks like the defender, he's trying to let up. He just kind of stumbles. Really, he's kind of blocked into his own player. And we're gonna go with a roughing call. But this is not a correct call. You can see even better here. If anything, he's really kind of blocked into the quarterback. And it's very marginal contact. Quarterback never even goes down to the ground, yet we still flag it. It's just not a strong roughing the passer call. We want to protect the quarterbacks for sure. But we do have, you know, a requirement to be fair to the defenders as well. And this is just not a strong roughing the passer. So we know, like I said, we're looking for, is there any kind of extra action that the defender does? Do they have time to let up? Are they trying to let up? Like again here, the defender, he just kind of stumbles. You know, so this is not a strong roughing the passer. And, you know, one we should probably pass on in the future. All right, on this one, we have some early movements here. We'll watch this guard. I think he's going to pull. A little bit of a flinch. You know, obviously, real time. You know, I can slow it down, and it's a lot more obvious in real time. But you do, as a wing, you know, especially if you've been officiating for a while, you kind of have an idea of what everything should look like at the snap. It's just like when you're counting. If you're deep and you're counting the defense, you kind of know what 11 players on the field looks like. So if you have 12 or if you have 10, it looks odd to you. Same thing with these free snaps. When a player moves early, it kind of looks odd to you. This is the first play of the game from scrimmage. And, okay, it's not much. Again, it's just slight, but we'll just kind of see. It just kind of looks odd. So maybe you let that one go. Very next play. This one's a lot more obvious. So you kind of should have your internal clock is kind of ticking a little bit. And these are advantages for sure. All right, because this guard, he's pulling. You see he's pulling to cover the gap. So that's an advantage for sure. Same thing here. They're going into pass block protection. So that is an advantage to be moving early like that. Yeah, it looks a lot more obvious from the end zone view. And again, and then we have very next play again. Just a whole lot of movement right before the snap. So there's 3 plays in a row. First 3 plays of the game from the scrimmage where we're allowing the offense to move, and they are gaining an advantage because again, one's a pulling guard, other 2 are pass block protection. So it is an advantage to be up and early. So I point all this out to say just kind of trust your internal clock, trust your experience. Something looks odd like this, well, it probably is. Be sure, obviously don't flag it just because it looks odd to you. Be sure that they are moving early. But if it looks odd to you that one play, the next play, just kind of be more attentive to it. Kind of be more attentive to what's going on. All right, so that's it for this week. I know it was a little bit shorter, but we had a lot of plays last week. A lot of good plays, I thought. This week is the halfway point. So once we're done with week 6, we're halfway through the regular season. A lot of you are going to be starting region games this week, or maybe next week. So as these region games, we get into October, a lot of these games start meaning a lot more than they have been. Kind of start getting out of blowouts and into games that are impactful. So stay focused, stay attentive, and good luck and stay safe.